There's a formula. You've never seen it. You've never heard of the man who wrote it. But it decides what you eat for breakfast, what feeds your livestock, what grows in nearly every cornfield from Iowa to India. One equation, one man. George Frederick Sprague. Before him, plant breeding was voodoo, prayers, blind luck. After him, it was a science. He didn't just improve farming. He built the invisible architecture that decides which crops live and which die. The Green Revolution started here. Your morning cereal started here. Billions of people fed started here. All from an equation most people will never know exists. This is his story. Picture this, 1930s America. You're a farmer. You plant corn. One year, incredible harvest. Next year, same seeds, same field, total disaster. Why? Nobody knew. Not the farmers, not the scientists, not anyone. Every experiment took 3 years. Most failed completely. The math was brutal. Try something new. Wait 36 months. Discover it doesn't work. Start over. Breeding better corn was like playing Russian roulette, blindfolded, with the gun pointed at your livelihood. Scientists were shooting in the dark. Farmers were gambling their futures, and America's food supply hanging by a thread. Then, one man changed everything. George Sprague, born 1902, Iowa, corn country. Farming wasn't abstract, it was survival. PhD from Cornell, straight to the USDA, 1935. Surrounded by thousands of seeds, he asked the question no one could answer. Can we predict which plants will work before we plant them? Spoiler, yes. Sprague saw the pattern everyone missed. Plant breeding wasn't random, it was math. He broke it into 2 simple questions. First, how good is this plant overall? That's GCA, General Combining Ability. Second, how good are these 2 plants together? That's SCA, Specific Combining Ability. Basically, he built Tinder for corn. Match the plants that work, skip the disasters. No more testing thousands of random crosses, just predict the winners using data. This wasn't a formula, it was a revolution, the birth of data-driven agriculture. Sprague's model worked, and it spread fast. Hybrid corn production skyrocketed across the United States. Yields doubled in some regions. Food became more stable, costs dropped, and new research programs started worldwide. His methods weren't limited to corn. They reshaped how scientists breed everything, from wheat to soybeans to rice. His methods became the foundation of plant genetics. He turned agriculture from guesswork into a data science, decades before data science was even a term. By the 1970s, Sprague's influence was everywhere. Universities were teaching his methods. Entire research programs were built on his frameworks. In 1978, when the Wolf Prize in Agriculture was established, often called the Nobel of Farming, George Frederick Sprague was one of its first winners. The award recognized not just his discoveries, but the system he left behind, a blueprint for scientific breeding that's still in use today. He didn't chase publicity. He mentored, he published, he quietly reshaped a global industry. Fast forward to today. AI predicts crop performance. CRISPR edits genes with surgical precision. But the logic underneath? Still Sprague's equations from 1943. Every algorithm Bayer uses, every prediction Syngenta makes, every gene-edited seed in development, all running on his framework. He turned biology into code 80 years before Silicon Valley made that cool. Sprague spent his final decades teaching at the University of Illinois, training the next generation of plant scientists. He retired in 1972, but never stopped consulting, never stopped asking questions. George Frederick Sprague passed away in 1998, at age 95. By then, his equations were feeding billions, most of whom would never know his name. George Frederick Sprague's name isn't in textbooks for most people, but every harvest season, every supermarket shelf, every grain of corn that survives unpredictable weather still depends on the logic he built. He didn't talk about changing the world, but his math quietly did. George Frederick Sprague lived until 1998, nearly a century of seeing his work grow in every ear of corn that stands tall today. If this story moved you, subscribe now, hit the bell, and share this video with everyone who eats corn, which is almost all of us. Your support helps reveal the untold stories behind the food that feeds the world. This is Awards, where the world's greatest minds live forever. Don't just watch history, be inspired by it.
Thanks for being with Awards. Subscribe to know more about international award winners and unsung heroes behind peace, science, and humanity.